What is the most powerful wine in Middle-earth, and why is it bull? Probably. It's probably. Hey, I'm Harrison. I'm your Mid-Earth Somm. Let's take a look at the wines of Dorwinion. In Chapter 9 of The Hobbit, Tolkien describes a wine so powerful it knocks out 2 Mirkwood elves who split a flagon. Now, what's a flagon? A flagon is just medieval for carafe. What's a carafe? That's just French for pitcher. How much does a pitcher hold? About a liter. A liter is 32 ounces, so a standard wine bottle holds about 25 ounces. Thus meaning that these elven lightweights were basically splitting a bottle of wine and getting drunk off their asses almost instantaneously. This mythical, powerful wine is ascribed to the gardens of Dorwinion. We discover this mystical land of viniferous bliss lying to the far east down the river Running, just to the west of Rhûn, which you may have seen in intimate detail in the latest season of Amazon Prime Video's Rings of Power. I haven't seen it, and I won't. This is a book channel. Now, based on our map overlay, we're somewhere between the 48th and 49th parallel, putting us on the same level as more moderate to cool regions in the real world like Wachau in Austria, Alsace in France, the southern edge of Champagne, or even British Columbia in Canada. As far as climate moderators go, that is, geographic elements that could help protect the vines or act as moderators for inclement weather, we have the river Running and the inland sea of Rhûn, and not much else. Now, despite all that, this is a wine that is so strong, it can make the elves of Mirkwood drunk off their asses. Later in Chapter 9, a whole team of elves shows up, just have a couple of sips, and are instantly so buzzed they just start singing and throwing barrels in the river, allowing Bilbo and company to escape. Tolkien notes that the particular wine described is of a heady vintage, not intended for the common elves of Mirkwood, but for the king and royal court only. So, we know we're dealing with a Grand Cru, First Growth, Grosslager, top shelf sort of equivalent. But how? How is it so strong? Let's try to make this make sense. So we have a couple possibilities. Number one, they're drying grapes on mats and vinifying, creating super powerful wines. Kind of like what we see with Valpolicella Ripasso and Amarone, as well as Vin de Paille and Jurançon in France. So the Dorwinions, Dorwiniadorks? So the winemakers in Dorwinion could be basically picking the grapes, laying them out on mats, allowing the grapes to raisinate. So I've been asked to explain what raisinating means. So in Dune Part 2, when they finally reach Sietch Tabra and they're holding a burial ceremony for Jamis, and they drain all the water out of him in order to add his water to the collective pool of the tribe? Do that, but to grapes, and not to a potential mentor figure whose continued presence would seem to suggest that your prescient visions don't always happen exactly as you see them, and those sugars are going to get super concentrated, making an intense, high ABV wine. And if you want to experience that for yourself, check out Valpolicella Classico Superiore Ripasso, Amarone, Vin Jaune, or Araquin Spice Wine. Possibility number 2, they're fortifying their wines, which begs the question, where did they learn distillation? Now, it's possible the 2 blue wizards who f***ed off to Rhûn and were never mentioned again may have imparted them with some basic alchemical knowledge from Valinor. In Tolkien's notes, he theorizes the blue wizards may have started secret cults to undermine the growing threat of Sauron. And you know what every cult needs? Wine, baby! It's actually very similar to how the Bene Gesserit operated with their Mission Protectiva, laying the groundwork on different worlds for the coming of the Quisac.
We're not doing the Dune shit.
We're gonna have to pivot to something else eventually. We're running out of kingdoms.
We haven't even done the dwarves yet.
Dwarves don't have wine. There's no way they could have grown wine underground.
But they could have done the concrete rock thing.
The classic fortified wines to try include France's Vendu Naturel, Sherry, Madeira, Port, and Stickies from Australia. Yes, they really do call it that. Australians are a darling people who make technically wine. Oh, I get it. This is some Australian bullshit wine. Which brings us to possibility number 3. The Dorwinion are possibly the most technologically advanced farmers in Middle-earth who have mastered irrigation. Now, we don't really know what the climate is like in Rhûn or Dorwinion, but it's possible that it could be a super hot continental high desert moderated by the river and inland sea. And if so, the Dorwinionites could be irrigating from the river, or even dry farming farther inland to the west. Hot days and cool nights would give the grapes tons of ripeness and acidity, which would vinify wines with super high alcohol and structure. Sort of like what we see from the many great Syrahs and Cabernet Sauvignons of Columbia Valley in Washington, and the present Syrahs of most of Southeast Australia. And yes, I am aware that Penfolds exists. Possibility number 4. The elves are just pussies who can't actually hold their alcohol.
I feel something. A slight tingle in my fingers.
Possibility number 5. Bilbo is a little hobbit liar. Canonically, The Hobbit is written by Bilbo, so it's entirely possible he embellished little details. There is precedence for this, as he admits to the Council of Elrond that he totally lied about how he got the ring from Gollum in order to make himself look better. Possibility number 6. Paul Muad'Dib, who was called Usul among his people, the Fremen, through trying to control prescience, himself became slave to it. It was really his son, Leto II, the so-called God Emperor of Dune, who during his 3,500-year reign was finally able—
God, are we doing this again?
What? I'm trying to—
Middle Earth, Somm.
There's a Middle Earth of Arrakis. It's where most of the action takes place.
Oh my god, where would they even do wine? In the desert?
Yeah, there's a lot of good desert wine. Have you not been watching the channel?
Oh, is this an Australian
We are
wine
not
channel?
an Australian wine channel. We will never be. We will— you take that back. Listen, Wine Australia, I just want you to know, all kidding aside, that I really do have so much respect for how much effort you put into your wines. And I want you to know that this is all in good fun, and even though your wines aren't necessarily for me, that shouldn't discourage you, and that there are so many amazing people out there who no doubt will buy your wines because they don't have access to anything else. Thank you so much for watching. If you like bougie wine and high fantasy as much as we do, please consider mashing that subscribe button and following along for more Mid-Earth Somm. Next week, we're exploring Sauron. Does he f***? The answer may surprise you.